What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the channel. Ralphdatrader here, back with another video. All right, today's video is going to be a weekly recap of NAS100 because NAS100 is really the only instrument that I really trade, and I want to try to start just doing a weekly recap of NAS100, just going over some trade setups and showing you guys on how you could have made profit off of NAS100 in that week. All right, so with that being said, let's get right into this recap. All right, so I'm on a 30-minute time frame, and you can use whatever time frame that you prefer to use. All right, I just prefer to use the 30-minute time frame because it works well with me while I'm at my job. All right, so like always do the same thing: mark up the highs, mark up the lows. All right, just mark up our highs, mark up our lows. So as you can see, this was our high of the day that was put in place here. All right, and we had a low of the day that was put in place here. Okay, so as you can see, the London session puts in a high, and it also gave us our low before the New York session opened up at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you can see, the London session also did give us a nice move. All right, this was a nice move in the London session. Now coming into the New York session, we put in a low, then we came back and put in a lower high. All right, put in a lower high that was in place here. All right, then price continued to drop, and as you can see, we dropped like 50, about 75 pips outside of the 100 pip box that price was in during the London session. But once the New York session opened up, all right, we was in a different 100 pip box, and you can also see that our previous day's low and last week's low has been triggered. But as always, we always have to wait for confirmation. All right, so once the New York session opened up at 8 a.m., you can see price just accumulated for an hour, right? Just went sideways, accumulation for an hour. 9 a.m. they gave us a pin hammer here at 9 a.m., which is also triggered our low of the day, all right, and then giving us a close above 50. So just look at how price is closing above the 50, all right. London session comes down, uh, pushes through 50, but closes above, all right. New York session opens up, all right. 1 hour, we just accumulated 9 a.m. They give us a strong rejection off of our current low of the day, all right, and off of the 50 level, giving us a pin hammer. We had no major red news, all right, on Monday. So once 9:30, the 9:30 candle opened up, all right, we always want to try to get in at our lowest point. So once this candle opened up, all right, you could have put in a small position. All depends on how you trade. Me, I typically like to wait to see price pull back. All right, so as 9:30 candle open up, and once it pulled back, all right, triggering our low of the day, and as it started coming up, you want to get in before the level, or once it came down here, you could have timed it good and enter here on the 9:30 candle. Either way, you could have entered in on market open at 9:30, but if you want to wait until after 9:30, that is fine as well. All right, once 9:30 candle closes, you can see that it gave us a engulfing candle. All right, gave us an engulfing candle here, and once price came pulled back, all right, gave us our pullback, all right, could have taken an entry anywhere up in here. Okay, could have taken an entry anywhere up in here as well. All right, so that was our Monday trade, but just understanding and just reading the price action, seeing that price action is failing to break below 50. Okay, failing to break below 50, and depending on the broker that you're on as well, some of these candles might have closed up underneath 50, but they still did not go lower than our current low of the day. Now let's go into the next day. All right, let's go into Tuesday. As you can see, all right, we want to mark off our highs and mark off our lows. As you can see, we had a high that was put in place pretty much here. Okay, that was our high before the session opens up, which was also, all right, also a session high. Okay, so we had our current high of the day and our session high all in one. And we had our low of the day that was put in here. Now, I always tell you guys when you're coming into the market, always pay attention to market structure, all right? So you see, after Monday, when price pushed up, Asian session came down, gave us a drop during the Asian session, All right, then London session came down, continued to drop. All right, so prices was making higher highs, lower lows and lower highs, as you can see. So then coming into our New York session, you can clearly see that once the New York session opened up, all right, we had our current high of the day, which was triggered. All right, current high of the day was triggered. And then at 8:30, we get this nice bearish candle. All right, get a nice bearish candle with no wick at the top, nice closing below our double zero. All right, we could have entered this trade right at 9 a.m. Okay, we could have entered this trade at 9 a.m. because if you're paying attention to market structure, you can see, like I said, we're making lower highs and lower lows. Okay, lower highs and lower lows. All right, lower highs and lower lows. And yes, Stacy says, all right, lower highs and lower lows on the inside is your pump and dump. All right, so they gave you a dump, but I just trade highs and lows, and you can get the same thing. All right, just understanding market structure and understanding some simple candlesticks. So, like I said, excuse me, price triggered our current high of the day. All right, giving us this inverted pin hammer, shooting star, whichever one you want to call it, inverted pin hammer, shooting star, scroll rejection. Okay, because you can see we broke into this 100 pip box and then we broke back up into this box, failing, coming 25 pips out. All right, so hitting stops, inverted pin hammer, shooting star, whichever one you want to call it. Okay, then we get this nice bearish candle with no wick at the top, closing below double zero. So this is strong momentum, letting you know that price is going to go down. You could have taken an entry here at 9 a.m. Okay, and rolled this on down. Okay, as you can see that the trade continued to fall. All right, continue to fall. All right, let's go into Wednesday. All right, we want to do the same thing, mark off our highs, mark off our lows. So before 8 a.m., we had a high that was put in place. All right, and we had our low of the day. All right. So now, as you can see, when New York session opened up, price was just accumulating, we just ranging going sideways. Okay. So for 1 hour, all right, you had 8:30. All right, price just still accumulating. All right, new hour opened up at 9 a.m. All right, which is also a new 4 hour candle that has opened up. Prices continue to go sideways. So we still do nothing. We have nothing has been triggered for us. All right, nothing has been triggered, so we still wait. So at 9:30 a.m. when it NY open, you can see that NY open triggers our high of the day. All right, closing as a shooting star. All right, next candle, price is still going sideways, and I think we had some news out. I think it was some news out at 10:30. I think we had news out at 10:30 on that day, on Wednesday. Let me see. Oh no, we didn't have any. No, we had news, medium impact news. All right, at 8:30. Had medium impact news at 8:30, and we had low impact news at 10:30. All right, so no major red news, but as you can see, our high of the day was triggered, creating a shooting star. All right, then we get this next candle at 10 a.m. So now we're in our third hour. Okay, so there's our trigger. Okay, we can see prices falling. Right, look how prices stand inside of this area. Prices falling. Right, so then at 10:30 a.m., we get this strong engulfing candle. Right, got the strong engulfing candle. Now, as price pulls back, all right, pulls back 50%, we could have taken an entry here. All right, could have taken an entry because there was our confirmation with the strong bearish engulfing candle. All right, we want to get in at the highest point, so we wait. All right, that's what I typically do. I don't get in when price is down here. And like I said, if you want to put a starter in, that's okay. But I typically like to wait for price to give me some sort of pullback. All right, because I want to get in at the highest point. So as price pull back above 75, all right, we could have taken an entry. All right, on this candle here. All right, at 11 a.m., set our stops. All right, and you can see you had hit your 50 pip target. And then, as you can see, that price also came down, all right, outside of the 12 candle window, all right, triggering our previous day's low with a nice 1, 2, 3, all right. Then it gave you this engulfing candle here, Also, if you understand candlestick patterns, you have this morning star with this candle, this 3-bar pattern, 1, 2, 3 morning star. And as you can see, they came back up into the high of the day, as if you were still looking at NAS100 after the 12 candle window. So you had the sell setup, and you also had a um, long setup. All right, taking out our previous day's low. All right, now going into the next day, same thing. Where's our high? Where's our low? All right, so we had a high of the day that was put in place here. And we had our low of the day that was put in place here. Okay, as you guys can see, when the New York session opened up, you can see that price is just accumulating. Once again, we're accumulating prices holding above 50. Okay, so prices holding above 50, we just accumulating. All right, and we did have some major red news out on Friday. So we had major red news at 8:30. All right, we had some major red news at 8:30. Then we had some medium impact news. All right, around 9 and 10 a.m. Okay, so as you can see, prices pretty much just holding above 50. All right, holding above 50. So you know when we have the major red news, I would want to wait until after major red news. So major red news was at 8:30. Um, had low impact news at 9 and medium impact news at 10. So we are going to just wait. So as the market opened up, we just was accumulating sideways. New York Stock Exchange opens up at 9:30, comes down, all right, triggers our low of the day, all right. So it gives us our trigger at the low of the day, all right, and closes as a bullish engulfing, right? Closes as a bullish engulfing. Like I said, just pay attention to price action. Look at how we are rejecting inside of this area here. Look at how price is rejecting inside of this area. So New York Stock Exchange triggers our low of the day, and then we just sit back. We want to wait on confirmation. So it gives us our trigger, also closing as a bullish engulfing. And like I said, also closed as a morning star with this 3-bar pattern. You have a morning star. It's giving you indication that the price is about to go up. All right. So, and like I always say, I want to wait until price gives me a 50% pullback of the previous candle. Okay. So we did have news at 10 a.m. All right. So this was our news candle. Okay. Here was our news candle, which didn't give us any type of impact. It didn't impact the market at all on this news candle, but we still wanted to just wait. All right. Then once 10:30 opened up, all right, we had some low impact news at 10:30. So 10:30 pulls back. All right, pulls back below 50. All right, coming all the way down to where we had all this rejection at. All right, so 9:30, like I said, gave us the engulfing. All right, triggered our low, closed as an engulfing candle. All right, this was the confirmation. All right, we just needed to wait until after the news. So after the news happened, as price pulled back below 50, right in up in this area here where all that rejection was. So as we pulled back below 50 and started to climb up, we could have gotten an entry below the numbers and rolled this on up, or you could have just waited until this candle closed and also taken an entry on the next candle, whichever one you prefer. But you know, we want to get in at our lowest point if we're buying low. All right, so there was our trade. You had your 50 pips, and you can see this thing took off. All right, then going into Friday, all right, you want to do the same thing. You want to mark off your high, mark off your low. So here was our high coming into the session. We had a high that was put in place here. All right, there's our high. And then you see we did have a low was put in place, but our low of the day was down here. And as you can see, coming into the session, price is making higher highs and higher lows. All right, so when our New York session opens up, all right, during a gap time, you get a nice 1, 2, 3. And I don't know if we had any news on that day. Did we have news on the 29th? We had yeah, we had 8:30, we had news. All right, so we had major red news at 8:30. So you can see when the market opened up, it triggered our previous day's high. And at 8:30, candle triggered our current high of the day. So we had our previous day's high and our current high triggered. So we want to just wait. All right. So as price as price continue to go bullish, all right, as price continue to go up, you can see we had a nice 1, 2, 3, and then it gave us out engulfing, all right, at 10 a.m. All right, 10 a.m. we still had major red news. 10 a.m. closed as a bearish engulfing. All right, so we want to wait for that 50% pullback. And as you can see, now we're in that third hour. All right, 10:30 pulls back, gives us our 50% pullback. Now we could have entered as this candle started to drop and got our 50 pips. And you can see that price came all the way back to our low of the day, taking out all of these loans who was in the market. All right, so that was our recap for NAS100 from the past week. So, right, NAS really gave us some nice moves if you really understand market structure and understand the 100 pip box. So, like always, man, work hard, stay disciplined, and your time will come. Peace and love. Have a good one, family.